Welcome to the Nerd Social. I'm Nathan.
And I am Paula.
Hi, everyone. We're starting this about 30 minutes later than we planned because we had some technical difficulties. But what we plan to talk about tonight is the fifth episode of Wheel of Time, entitled Blood Calls Blood, written by Celine Song and directed by Salli Richardson Whitfield. Uh, as always, what we're going to do is go through our spoiler free thoughts about the episode and then jump into spoiler talk. But before that, I want to introduce Paula. She's a new addition to our contributor team here. She, like all of us, is a nerd who likes sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that. Um, so I hope you guys will enjoy her contributions. So what I'm going to do before we start our spoiler free talk is read the description that we were given by Amazon, the spoiler free description. So the description is: Perrin and Egwene run into a familiar face. Matt and Rand see strange ones, and Moiraine and Lan mourn their loss. So, Paula, what did you think of this episode, episode 5, spoiler free?
I thought it was a pivotal episode, right? I felt like some characters, like it went deeper with a few characters
Mm-hmm.
in there, and it just kind of told you more about them. And for me, it made me want to know more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I definitely enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I I enjoyed it as well. I think that it was actually just preparing for this tonight. The three timelines. I guess in the last couple episodes, there have been three timelines because our party got split up in, I think, an episode left that city, which I don't know off the top of my head, but I will. It'll come back. Come to me later. So we've always been following these three timelines. So I think this episode, particularly the actor who plays Lan, Daniel Henney, he did an excellent job. Later on, I can't say how, because that's kind of spoilery, but he definitely shines in this episode. I cried a bit in this episode because of his performance. So I think it was a good episode. I'm definitely looking forward to uh, what happens as hopefully our parties converge after being split up in the last couple episodes. So before we yeah before we go move on, just wanted to say, uh, to join the conversation, please comment down below, like and subscribe. That's the only way algorithms know that we exist. Uh, and now we can get into spoiler talk. So spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the episode, go see the episode. It's a pretty good episode, especially for, like I said, Daniel Henney's performance. All right, so let's jump into. So what I'm going to do is actually, what we're going to do is actually talk about the episode in the three different plots. So as the spoiler-free descriptions stated, we are going to follow the Perrin and Egwene story from beginning to end, then the Matt and Rand story from beginning to end, and then the Moiraine and Lan story from beginning to end. There is also a story that intersects both of them with what is her name? The Nynaeve. Nynaeve is in the B and the A story, so she's gonna show up in both of those. So it's kind of a D plot, but she intersects a little bit. So all right, so we start with Perrin and a Gwyn, uh, with these nomads, that they connected with in the last episode. They're with the Tinkers. So they're with the Tinkers, and the person that they see that they were hoping not that they were hoping not to run into again is what is his name? Valand? Valda. So Valda sees them, tries to capture them. The Tinkers try to hold them off in a non-violent way, but they are captured, and they get brought to their camp, and Valen tries to force her to show her power to the one source. So, what did you make of these scenes, Paula?
Well, quite a few things happened there.
Yeah.
So let me start with the a group of people who were trying to help Egwene and Perrin,
Mm-hmm.
and doing it by not fighting.
Right.
I
The
just kind of
Tinkers. Yeah.
thought, yes, I just kind of thought that's very noble, but how realistic is that?
Yeah.
And of course, you kind of see that they weren't really successful, right?
Yeah.
Now, as far as them being captured,
Mm-hmm.
I was the whole time I was really zoomed in on Perrin,
Mm-hmm.
because ever since his first encounter with the wolves,
Mm-hmm.
I had always thought that, okay, there's something special about him. I know that they're going to take his character to another level.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had kind of been waiting for something to happen with him, and I am happy to kind of have seen it in that moment there in that tent.
Yeah. So as you said, so like what Valda starts to torture Perrin to get Egwene to show her connection to the
Mhm.
to the to the one source, or the one power rather, and you see, so she, right, in this part of the scene, he threatens to kill her, and she's like, do it. um, and then and he also mentions that he has all these rings from other Aes Sedai. And as you said, he starts to butcher this boy. I thought he was going to actually cut a piece of flesh out of him, but he just starts to cut him, and you see his eyes turn here. So it looks like, I mean, what do you think is this connection to the wolves? Do you think he's like a werewolf or something like that, or because it definitely looks like
Yeah.
he's
Yes, he is definitely not fully human.
yeah.
Yes, he is. There's definitely some wolf in him. Initially, I thought he was going to be a
Mm-hmm.
werewolf, but then after seeing how they kind of brought in what's his name? The guy with the big beard and
Oh, the
Loial.
yeah, Orlick. Yeah. Uh huh.
So that kind of made me
Okay.
think that they're probably not going to make him a werewolf, but they're gonna make him a different fantasy character that is kind of tied
Mm-hmm.
to the wolf species.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like the other thing that might not, so like this, she actually summons the a fireball, but it's a very small fireball, and he goes to kill her, and then he actually summons some power as well to get to release himself. So that's not a typical werewolf power. Like he summons a little. I don't know if the intention of the director there was that he summoned some power and it made him stronger. That was why he was able to break the binds. But it also looks like he used some fire as well, like through his hands to break the binds. So he might be a combination of things. And he definitely freaked this guy out. He's like, "What are you?" Um, just before she's able to stab him in the back there. And before they leave the tent, she grabs the all the rings, which is an interesting beat there. But like you said, when they escape, he gets assistance from these wolves, which we saw in, I think, 2 episodes back. He's able to commune with these wolves, and he definitely has. That's actually something I didn't notice when I was putting these images together. See the wolves' eyes, exact same color as when he changed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't even notice that when I was grabbing the images. So yeah. And that's basically where their story ends in this episode. And I guess we'll see. They run into the wolves, and maybe they'll reconnect with the Tinkers, or maybe they'll go into the city. But because they were nearing the city, Tarvalon. I might be pronouncing that correctly, but that's where the White Tower is. So maybe that we'll see them in the city in the next episode. So then we get the storyline with Rand, Matt and Rand. So Matt and Rand are on their own path after they left that farmhouse. Matt has been acting weird since they left that farmhouse. I think that's partially because of that dagger that he got from that city. It's obviously corrupting him in some way. But they happen upon Torvalon, and they go into the city, and they stop at the Light Blessing Inn before they go to the tower. Because I think Rand's thinking here is that he doesn't want to show up to the tower with Matt acting this way. He thinks that the Aes Sedai are probably going to, I don't know, do something to him. And I think that's probably a good guess given what they did to the false dragon in the last episode. So, as I said, they get some lodging. He's still not feeling well. He's very worried about him, and this is when Rand meets the ogre. So like he calls him an ogre, and he says he's not an ogre. He's an ogre. I don't know. I'm not sure what what's up with the naming in this show, because they don't have trolls. They have trollocs. They don't have ogres. They have ogre. It's like whatever. Yeah. So this ogre is played by an actor. Let me see his name here. He is Laurel, and his actor is Hammond Animashaun. So he's a ogre. He seems to move very slowly, but they also seem to be very long lived as well, because he mentions later in the conversation that humans have very aged so quickly. So they have a conversation. He mentions that he's looking for his friend in the White Tower, and just before their conversation is broken off by the Aes Sedai parading the false dragon through the streets, and Matt is actually looking on this scene, and in this scene, Matt asks Rand to kill him if he gets too far, because in the previous scene he also thinks that he killed the farm. He killed the farm family, like he killed the little girl, and he killed the mother and the father. Do you think he killed them, or like corrupted by the dagger, or do you think it was the Fane that showed up?
That's a great question. To be honest, I don't know. Initially, I thought that he did, and then I was like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not quite sure. I can't really figure out exactly what's causing Matt to act like that,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's because he's able to channel the one power,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's because of the dagger.
Yeah, it's unclear. It's
And
unclear.
yeah, because he was fine up until the time that he touched that dagger,
Yeah,
right?
I think I think it might be maybe a little bit of both, right? Maybe he like Maureen picked the four of them because she knew that they had some sort of power. Like so, maybe this power was always accessible to him, and then it was uh, amplified by touching the dagger, but it doesn't not necessarily amplified in a positive way for him because he looks like he's half dying throughout this episode.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah.
horrible. Yeah, but I'm really not sure if he killed them or not.
Mm-hmm.
They there are times where I feel like he did it,
Mm-hmm.
and I just say that just because of how he is able to kind of lose himself
Mm-hmm.
things without him knowing. And so it's very much likely that he did murder these people.
Yeah, it's possible. He also is of the four of them, or actually the five of them, if you include Nynaeve. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name properly. If you include the wisdom from the town who is actually with Lan and Moiraine. Of the five of them, he's the more shady character because he comes from like a broken family, right? His father is a lecher, and his mother is a drunk. So he's the one who's mostly taking care of his sisters. So
Hmm.
he's the most jaded of them. So it's difficult to tell. And also, he was trying to steal in 2 episodes ago, and he tried to shirk his way out of work. So it's difficult to tell what his character is because like what his line is for like bad behavior, like killing. He seems to be very broken up about this, and he thinks that he did it. So maybe that would have been his that is his line. But if he's being pushed by some other force, maybe that force pushed him over that line that he would have not necessarily crossed in the past. Because I can imagine the reason that this is torturing him is because the little girl probably reminded him of one of his sisters. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So after the procession or the parade of the false dragon, we're back at the inn, and Rand is again looking over his looking over Matt in concern, and the Orgaire, Laura brings a visitor, and it happens to be Nynaeve. She happens to be in the city as well. They are surprised to see her because they thought that she died. The last time they saw her, she was pulled by a Trolloc into the into the forest, and like during that scene in the first episode, there were like many people who tried to fight Trollocs with groups of people, and they died. So it was a good bet that she was dead. So they're very. He thinks it's and Matt in his current state, he thinks that he's hallucinating. He's hallucinating
Hmm.
her, and he also snaps at her. So he's definitely something is definitely going on with him, and they don't want to bring him to the White Tower because of his state. They Rand and she speak about this, and they also speak about trying to find and Perrin and Egwene, and so she seems to be very skeptical of the Aes Sedai, even though she also seems to have this incredible power that is above and beyond most of the sisters who aren't who've actually trained. So I think she will eventually become Aes Sedai, but very very reluctantly. I don't know. She seems to be uninterested, very very uninterested in their world. Uh, but I think she's going to be pulled into it. She's mostly interested in her people, in the people that she was sworn to protect. As the wisdom, she's supposed to be like the wise woman of the village, and her charge is to protect them. So that's her main objective, right? Her main focus. So yeah, so they talk about that, and also she recounts a story here where Egwene, when she was 10 years old and she was like an apprentice wisdom, she was going to die. She had some sort of muscular disease that would have snapped her bones, and she bared the she bore the pain, and the fever broke and she didn't break. So she's just telling Rand here that she's unbreakable. So this is just before we actually see her escape from the camp, as we're running through the episode. All right, so that's the C plot. The A plot of the episode is following Lan and Moiraine. So after the battle last week, when the Kareen and a bunch of other warriors died, they're doing a funeral in the woods here, and Steppen, her warder, is looking after her body here. He takes her ring, and he seems to be very, very affected by her death. So I didn't read the books. I'm not sure if you read the books.
No.
Yeah. So, but they mentioned in the show that waters are connected magically through the one power to the Aes Sedai, and the Aes Sedai are connected to them. So they kind of feel each other's emotions. So the kind of grief that we would feel regularly, I assume, is compounded by that connection that was broken. And that's going to play out for the entire episode as we watch Steppen deal with this loss. So a month later, they actually arrive in Tar Valon, and they put Naveen, in this tower for her own safety, to keep her away from other people, because she seems to be uninterested, she says, in the politics of the tower, and also, but Moiraine sees that she's just very, very scared, because she's very scared because she was able to unlock something that she wasn't aware of in the past. So, pausing here for a little bit, do you think that she's like the one that they're choosing? The one that Moiraine is looking for? Do you, of the five of them now, who do you think is the one, the Dragon Reborn?
Well, when Nynaeve showed her power with the big light, I thought, okay, she's it. She's the dragon. It must be her. But then, as it went on, I just thought, okay, that would make it way too easy.
Yeah, and it's
so yeah. So now I don't think that she is the dragon, but I think that she's going to be a very powerful Aes Sedai.
Yeah. I don't think they would have tipped their hand this early either. I don't think she's the dragon either. It'd be nice, because she's like one of the only black characters in the show, but
I thought that too.
But I think she's gonna play an important part. But I don't think she's the dragon. We'll see how she fares with the internal politics of the White Tower, because there seems to be a lot of things going on in the tower here. Then we switch over to Steppen, and he's preparing for a ceremony. He's being consoled by his fellow wanderers here, and he's preparing for a ceremony to return the ring to the source that it came from. I guess some sort of forge, and it seems like all of the wanderers seem to come from like broken homes. He mentions that his father was abusive, and another wanderer says that his father tried to kill him when he was 12. So it seems like all these boys come from like broken homes, and they are kind of scooped up by the Aes Sedai to be warriors for them. And yeah, he's not handling her death very well. Corinne's death very well. So as I said, he prepares for this ceremony where he returns the ring. And I think that's the only thing that actually kept him alive for the month journey back. Like I feel like he felt duty bound to do this, but after he did this, I don't think he really felt like he had any other reason to live. Uh, and we see in a scene where he's talking to um, Nynaeve. He asked her for some herbs to sleep, and that comes up later on. He obviously doesn't want the herbs for himself. He uses those herbs later on to trick Lan. So this is when she leaves the room. She leaves the room, and she runs into. Do you remember how to pronounce her name? It's Lia Liandrin. Liandrin, I think her name is. Yeah, Liandrin. And Liandrin tries to entice her to become red. Um, she mentions that reds don't have waters, and she tries to say that because she doesn't because they hate men. I thought this was actually pretty good commentary here about not just the world that we're looking into, but also the world that we actually live in. Um, she says that even though women are the only people who can tap into the one power, men still rule the world, and if there's even a spark of a little girl being greater than a man, they're not treated very well. So she definitely she definitely hates men, for reasons that are not unfounded. So I thought this exchange was very interesting because in the last couple episodes she just seemed like an evil person. And now you get a better sense of where she's coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I heard that, I felt softer towards her because up until then, you are right. I just kind of like saw her as this evil person, and then this really explains why.
Yeah, where she definitely has a world. I mean, she's also very ambitious. So like I think she wants to be the head of the Aes Sedai. So later on, we see her confront uh, Moiraine about Nynaeve, and she suggests that you like to wander, so you're not going to be able to control her how she's brought up, and Moiraine just reminds her, she doesn't hate men, so you're not going to be able to get your hooks into her. So that's interesting. So like they also mention in this conversation the Ajas, and this is actually something I had to look up because I didn't, like I said, I didn't read the books. So the Red Ajas are typically the division of the Aes Sedai who are the police of improper use of the One Power. The Blue Ajas, like a Marine, are associated with righteousness and justice. The Green Ajas, like Corrine, who died on the battlefield, are the warriors of the Aes Sedai. And the yellow Aja are the ones who are dedicated to healing. So that's why they mention yellow in this conversation. And there's also brown Ajas who are dedicated to knowledge and wisdom. So we get after this scene we get a couple scenes with Lan and Steppen. Steppen is praying, and Lan is trying to keep him company so that he doesn't do something. He doesn't harm himself, but I think Steppen is ahead of him. He knows that's why he's there, which is why he's pouring him a drink. So in Moiraine's room, we have a conversation between Moiraine and this green Aja. I forget what her name is. Alanna and Moiraine. They talk about the fact that even though Moiraine isn't at the White Tower, she has a lot of enemies because of how powerful she is, I guess. So there's Liandrin, and there's also the current head of the Aes Sedai, who's on the Armland seat. I guess we'll see her in the next episode. So this conversation was interesting. It's also in this conversation as well. Alanna offered for Steppen to be another one of her warders because she has 2 warders already, and she doesn't think that she thinks that he's being swallowed up by grief. So this is of course not. I mean, it's foreshadowing for what happens at the end of this episode, where Steppen tricks Lan by giving him some of the herbs that he got earlier on in the episode to knock him out, so he could go and unfortunately kill himself. So you have this. Oh, also just before this though, we get a conversation between them where he acknowledges that Nynaeve loves him. He's like the only reason she was able to tap into that power is because she didn't want him to die. That she saved were just right, yeah. like she didn't want him to die. Like she accidentally saved a bunch of other people as well. So there definitely is going to be some more development there. So that should be interesting in the coming weeks. So yeah, he gets knocked out by this by the herbs, and he wakes up the next morning, and you see him running through the tower. But he probably killed himself like hours ago. And this is the part of the episode like I said where I cried, just like the actor here, Daniel Henney, like he the like the range of emotion and the connection that he sees. So the 3 women here, they can see on his face and also in his performance just how wrecked he is. So I'm not sure if this affected you as much as it affected me, but it was a really good scene at the end of this episode.
Yeah, no, it did. And what I really loved about this is that you get to see how close the Wanderers are.
Yeah.
And it felt to me a bit opposite to how close their Aes Sedai are. Right? They are supposed to be
sisters. Yeah.
Sisters.
Yeah.
But it's so much
kind of backbiting a little bit, yeah, and positioning, and yeah, and as Nynaeve says, like there's all kinds of politics within the tower.
Exactly.
But yeah, the Warders are definitely far more of a brotherhood, because I think, as I said earlier, I think they're all kind of broken boys that were given this opportunity, and they so like yeah. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I didn't think about that, but there is a big juxtaposition there compared to how the sisters, the Aes Sedai, treat each other. Because I mean, there are some that I mean, I think they all have regard for each other. They all love each other to a certain extent, but they're also kind of maneuvering and competing with each other as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But also, I'm sorry. Let me also add that I really did not expect this type of reaction from Lan, because he is always so reserved with his
emotions.
emotions.
Yeah.
I really didn't know that he was so close, that close to
Stepping.
Right. Until that very moment.
Yeah. You see throughout the episode though, if we go back in the images, he's concerned throughout the episode. If we, even from the very beginning, if we going all the way back to the beginning of the episode, like when he's burying her. Here, you see, he look. This is even at the beginning. He's looking down at him, and he's very concerned. And there's all these in this entire episode. There's all these scenes where he's kind of looming in the background, just very, very concerned about him. He's concerned there. There's all throughout the episode. He's just like
he
knows if he doesn't watch him. If he doesn't watch him, something is going to happen, and this is why he's sitting with him tonight. And Steppen knows this as well. He knows that he's trying to keep him from killing himself. So that's why he gave him the herbs that put him to sleep, because he intended to do what he wanted to do. So it seems like they were very, very, very close. I think part of this is that part of his emotional outpouring here is, despite all his efforts to keep him alive, he wasn't able to keep him alive. So I think he's also guilty that he wasn't able to save his friend. So yeah, it was a really good episode, and it ended very, very well as well. Also, so yeah.
Yeah, and I do also feel like they are slowly letting us into the relationship between Lan and Moiraine.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's just kind of been just there without really going into all of the we just know that they have a strong bond, but this is really the first time that I see strong emotions between the two.
Yeah, I think you see her emoting more because he's emoting more, right? Because he usually doesn't emote as much, right? And since they're connected through this magic, she's feeling everything that he's feeling. So you're seeing both of them emote a lot more than they usually do, just because he's very concerned about his friend. Well, throughout the episode, he's very concerned about his friend. So like all the way back here, when he returns the ring to the source, he goes to her, and they're both like feeling something because he's feeling something for his friend. So yeah, you definitely start to, in small scenes like this, you see how strongly they're bonded. And also later on, when Moiraine is talking to Alanna in her room, she mentions that she read somewhere there's a way to break the bond, because she thinks that she might die, and she doesn't want Lan to have a similar fate. She doesn't want Lan to be broken by her death in the same way. So yeah, they definitely have very high regards for each other. So I'd be interested to see how that's gonna shape up later on as well, because we also know that Nynaeve loves him, right? So like how is that going to work? Like how can he even love her, given how strong a magical bond he has with Moiraine? So I don't know. Yeah.
And then what if he does love her? Mm-hmm. Is that bond eventually going to be stronger than his bond with Moiraine?
I don't know. Can it be? Because even if he met Moiraine, and he really admired Moiraine, like as a person in the world, like it's not just a regular human bond. Their bond is connected through the one power. So it's
true.
Yeah.
But I feel like, in these type of like movies, I feel like love always
Yeah.
conquers all, right?
So
So
so the love is
maybe
going to be stronger than the
love
one power.
is the one thing that's going to be stronger than the bond between a Wonder and their
I said yeah. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Any final thoughts before you wrap up?
Well, I'm really just really excited to see where each character takes us. There are a few that I am really into, and I'm just really
Who's
excited about.
who are your favorite characters so far? I mean, because we're in episode 5, and there's only 8 episodes in this first season, and I think they got a second season greenlit. So who are your favorite characters right now?
Favorite is not the word that I would use, but I'm
Okay, more
really,
interested in who are you
yeah,
most interested in?
Perrin.
Okay.
Perrin, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna come out to be one of the leading characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Perrin's very interesting. Just because of you could tell just in the first episode how much he loved his wife and how much what happened during that Trolloc attack is affecting him.
Hmm.
Uh, he mentioned this is the first time he was able to unburden himself during this episode. He told Egwene what happened, and he basically he's telling her, don't show your power. I want to die because I deserve to die. He really loved his wife, and you can't really. It wasn't his fault. Just like Gwen said, like you're in the middle of the battle. You didn't know what was behind you. These giant things that you've never seen in your life that are that have the strength of like 10 men or behind you. It's adrenaline, right? That was going through his body. So I don't know. He's definitely going to be a little tortured and interesting going forward. I like him as well. I'm looking to. I think him and Nynaeve are probably the ones that I think are the most interesting to me. Just because she's just so tough. She doesn't really care about all the other people. All the other kids seem to be younger and less world less savvy about the world. So I can't get really a good beat on Rand except for he's the redhead guy. So you know what, Rand, they're probably gonna say that he's a Aiel. I think
Yeah.
so I had to look that up as well. In this episode, the Ogair the Ogair said that he is a Aiel. So the Aiel are a warrior people who live in the Aiel Waste, which is east of the Westland. So we get a kind of hint to this in the first episode when his father brings out this sword with a heron on it. So it looks like his father was a warrior somewhere else, and that was a past life that he never told his son about. So that's probably a shoe to drop later on as well with Rand. So I guess there's a little bit of an interesting backstory there that might be uncovered as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see that just based on how his father fought that.
Yeah, he
I mean,
yeah,
he knew what he was doing. He
yeah,
had been into battle before just by the way he was like wielding the sword.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next couple episodes. I'm definitely hooked. I don't. So this is supposed to be like the new Game of Thrones. I don't know if people are watching it as much, but I like the show, and I'm interested in the lore. I've already started looking up some of the maps to figure out where they are as they're traveling through places. But we are interested to hear what you guys think. So please join the conversation by commenting down below. Like and subscribe for more conversations like this, and we will see you next time. Bye.